Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachary Nolan. I am joined by my brother Carter Nolan.
Yes.
I am joined by my always co-host Jay from Peg City Hockey,
What's up, everybody?
or wherever he is, and our guest. Introduce yourself again.
I'm back.
Wherever he's cornered.
I'm the illogical Canadian or knows Tanner.
Welcome back,
Hey.
Tanner.
Yeah, you guys couldn't get enough of me, so you have to go for the sloppy
We
second.
double dipped, baby. We double dipped.
Wait, is he the first one that we've had on more than once?
Yes,
now?
he is.
The first
he
guest
is.
to come on.
Oh,
First
shit.
multi-appearance.
Well, Carter. We always see you as like a reoccurring guest, but like, yes,
Yeah, Carter's the third host
Oh.
now. Fuck you, Zach.
Don't. No.
All
Ouch.
So, if you haven't already seen part 1 of this 4-part podcast series, we're talking about our division previews going into the season. In the first episode, we had Nick from Twisted Wrister Hockey come on, and we talked about the Pacific Division. He gave his previews and all that. That's uploaded on my channel, so make sure you go check that out. It'll be linked in the description below and in the comments and whatever. So go check out part 1. And today we're going to be jumping over to the eastern side of the NHL, and we're going to be talking about the Atlantic or Metro. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Atlantic, Metro. I just forgot. But it doesn't
Atlantic.
matter. Atlantic. Thank you. I don't know why I had to... Guys, it's still early for me. Give me a break, okay? I don't wanna hear it, okay? Anyway, let's start it off with let's talk about whatever team you want to talk about first. There, kind of. You can go from first to last.
I want to talk
whatever
about
order you
Boston
want.
first. I'll just do it alphabetically.
Go for
Just
it, man.
run it down. Boston, I feel, like with the loss of David Krejci and Kevin Miller, as well as Tuukka Rask. I mean, you can make an argument for that. They're not looking as strong as they once were. I mean, with the addition of, Fabian Lysell, Derek Forbort, among other players, with the more notable guy being Nick Foligno of all guys, do they have a real chance at, trying to compete for a playoff spot in this day and age? I mean, yeah, you get Linus Solmark to replace Tuukka Rask. But Linus is younger than Tuukka. Yeah, but he came from fucking Buffalo.
Yeah,
He
but
came from
could be a good
Buffalo.
fit, though. He could be a good fit. You can never write off a guy from Buffalo because if you're talking about writing people off from Buffalo, Taylor Hall should have done nothing for you guys when you traded for him at the deadline, right?
Fair enough.
So I
Fair
feel
enough
like
on that one.
I always say with Buffalo, doesn't matter
And
how
Leonard.
dog shit you were the season before, except for
And
Rasmus
Leonard.
Ristolainen, because Ristolainen is just a trash defenseman. I would stand by that opinion. Come at me in the comments. I don't care.
Just watch you say that, and he just absolutely shits on you when he does well in the season.
If he does, then I'll eat my words. I don't care. I always do. But I've never liked his game the last 4 years, I would say. He's always been mediocre and hyped up to be this legit #1 guy, and I don't understand it.
It'll be like the second coming between similar to the Puck Empire with Keith Kincaid.
Oh my god.
Now hates him.
Oh
Lest we
god.
forget Conn Smythe winner Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Exactly.
Nearly, as well as the Sabres nearly killing Lena with that ambient shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Later's another good example, though, man. Fucking guy's a pretty damn good goaltender now.
Oh,
Anyway,
absolutely.
So do you think Boston, summary, do you think Boston is going to be a team that stays the same from where they were last year, or do you think they're going to fall back a little bit more?
I think they're gonna fall back a little more because now, you're talking.
When you say fall
You
back,
got the
do
guy
mean
that,
fall back
because
out
now
of
you
the
got
playoffs?
McAvoy. Now you got McAvoy taking another big step in his game. You got Carlo taking a step in his game. You're gonna have to. They don't really have that second line center because now Krejci's gone in the checks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that guy in Tuukka Rask because he's off an FA and he's playing out of injury till December. So now you're just trying to assemble a plan as what you can do. I mean, if they two guys that the Bruins put on waivers today clear, then that frees up 2.25 mil, and then now they could possibly sign Rask and have a duo of Rask and Olmark.
That'd be a pretty good duo. I think
nice,
that'd
yeah.
be a really good
That'd be
solid
nice,
backup
yeah.
tandem
I mean,
for
they'd be
them.
very, very solid.
But to start, it's gonna be at least Olmark and Swayman, and honestly, Swayman's been a good goalie so
Yeah.
far for him.
I think he'll develop into a nice starter potentially. But either way, so you think that Boston will fall back a little bit? Do you think they fall
Just a
out of
little
the play-
bit.
Do you think they fall out
I
of the
wouldn't say
playoffs, or do you think they just
catastrophic
fall back
blows,
and
but,
lose 10 more games or something like that? Like, how do you see them falling back?
I see them either as a second wild card or just barely missing the playoffs.
Okay, that's where I see them too. I think that maybe they could be fight for that first wild card, but
I think
see
they're
them
going to
right
be the
around
wild
there.
card spot.
I think that bubble wild card is exactly where they're going to be this year.
Yeah,
But they won't be
it's-
terrible, but they'll just be fighting. It'll be a lot harder.
No, like,
this year.
like basically now they'll be, if they make the playoffs, they'll have earned it.
All right, so good. I like that about Boston. I think we're almost all in agreement on Boston. They'll be good, but they're not going to be as good. Going on to the
Yeah.
team after them, if we're going in alphabetical order, do we even need to talk about the Buffalo Sabres, or can we just completely?
No, we don't. They're just gonna be playing for the division.
That's bottom.
Damn
Right?
bottom.
Like-
Can I just write it down now? The
Yep,
Buffalo's
go for it.
at 8.
Sell the team, Mount. Sell the teams, Pagula.
It's just
They need to do more than sell the team, man. They need to completely cleanse that team with like a devil ritual and some crap, man, and like start fresh.
Somebody call NJ
Blood
Devil and get his
sacrifice or
ass over
something.
there to
They're
perform
gone.
some sort of ritual shit.
I'm gonna pull up Buffalo's lineup real quick.
No, what
God.
do we think any positives? Like, so do we think anything positive? Like any player development positive? Like we got Dylan Cousins.
Bro, how are you gonna have player development when your top 6 is the
I
equivalent of
know.
the bottom 6 AHL
I'm
team,
scared
man?
for that
Andres
man. I'm
Bork,
scared
Dylan
for that man.
Cousins, Tage Thompson, Drake Kajula, Arto Ristolainen, and Kyle Okapozo. Holy shit!
The only guys I like on that team are that are actually going to play. So I don't count Jack Eichel because he's never going to play. Victor
Back.
Olofsson
Never playing in our game there.
and Cousins, Dylan Cousins. Those are the two guys I like.
Cousins.
I
Cousins,
also
I think,
like Vinny
could do well.
Hinostroza, personally.
I'll say though, Cousins, I think, could do well. If put under the
could,
right
but-
circumstance.
He's not going to have. If he's going to be doing well on that team, he's going to be doing it all by himself. He's going to be doing it in spite of.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Look
Like
at
this
Oh,
isn't
God, yeah.
this isn't even Connor McDavid carrying a team. This is literally like Dylan Cousins ignoring his entire team.
You know what this is? This is like the last man standing on fucking Squid Game. That's what this is.
those spoilers. I still haven't watched yet.
I haven't watched
I haven't seen it either, so I'm just pulling it out of my
Everywhere. We
ass.
can't avoid spoilers. Either way, I want to even though I want to move on from Buffalo because they're bad. But I just want to
Yeah,
say one more
yeah,
thing about
we're on a
Buffalo. I
grand
wanna
squad
hear-
of division.
Exactly right. But I want to hear all three of you guys' opinions on this with their defense because I don't know why I think this. I think their defense could surprise a little bit. There could be some individual performances that aren't bad. Rasmus Ristolainen with Henry Jakaru is their top pairing. Their second pairing is Robert Hagg with Colin Miller. Third pairing is Will Butcher with Martin Peisk. That's not terrible. Like there are worse defensive cores in the NHL. Like I would argue that the Jets last year, and the year before that even had worse defense than that. I could say like there could.
Well,
be
the
some
Arizona
surprise.
Coyotes only got rid of Oliver Ekman Larson.
Like Will Butch, that third pairing is garbage, but that top 4 isn't terrible necessarily. There could be some decent performances in there. We're gonna move on from that, but I just want to state that for the record that I think that their defense is probably gonna be the better side of their team this year, even though they'll be terrible. Like it won't be horrible. I hope. Also, Rasmus Dahlin is a really good young defender who I really want to see succeed. So I have to just give him credit. Like I want to see that guy do good. Now with that new deal and everything, I hope he can kind of play better
they
defensive
better
hockey.
fucking
But
treat
it's
him.
Buffalo, so who the fuck knows, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving down from Buffalo then, next team, which is probably, again, another bottom feeder type team, or they could surprise, the Red Wings. How are we feeling about the Red Wings, Tan?
They're gonna be a tough team because they're still probably in that rebuild phase. Eiserman's probably gonna fucking skin that damn team alive, trying to get something good out of it. If it's fighting for the first overall pick, then so be it. If anything, Eiserman should be going for the throat when it comes to this rebuild.
Well,
All the old guys gone, in with the young.
I don't think they're willing to get rid of quite all their old guys just because they want to leave some of the veteran presence there, just to help.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
There's a lot of assumption now that Seider's going to be coming up into the lineup this year, and
Yeah.
they're going to pair him possibly with Stahl, with Mark Stahl in that in either the first or second pairing defense. And then they also brought in what's his name from
Nick
the
Leddy?
Islanders,
Nick Leddy.
and it's possible
Oh
that
yeah, I
Leddy's
forgot
going to be in there
Leddy.
as well.
Fuck.
I was just about to talk about Nick Leddy.
Goaltending's a bit of a question, but
Well, I think the stars gonna be Nedeljkovic. Honestly, God.
yeah, I hope they give Nedeljkovic a great chance here
See-
because I do think he can succeed. I think that was a great move by the Red Wings
Me
acquiring
too.
him.
That was a
And I
dumb
think-
trade by fucking what's his fucking name? Waddle, whatever his name is.
I think it all depends on how much of their young talent they decide to put into the roster this year because they're going to do some. They're going to do at least 3 guys out of the main prospects they have I think are going to end up in this lineup. So I expect them to do a little bit better than they did last season, but nothing spectacular yet. However, I think the future is very bright. They have they have so many prospects right now.
They have prospects.
Yeah.
They have elite prospects in every division, or not every division,
in
every position.
and that's
It's
important.
such a unique situation
Yeah.
to have.
My question is, what about Costa? Wait, what about? Wait, hold on.
Djokovic.
Well, what about Costa? Is did he sign his ELC or is he still in the Nick Juniors or whatever?
I
He's
think
in the
he's still in the
juniors.
juniors.
Still in the Juniors, okay.
Detroit normally holds guys a few years before they normally bring them in a little bit later than some teams do into the NHL.
Maybe that'll change though with Yzerman. He's always been one to push the youth.
That's
right?
true. Now,
Yeah.
one big question about the Red Wings is about Tyler Bertuzzi, because we have now heard that he is one of the few players in the leagues that are unvaxxed, which I believe if you play in Canada, you have to be. I believe that's a requirement.
That's about
The government won't let you travel to Canada with your team if you are not a vaxxed player, which is the
So
worst.
that's
Sorry,
when they
Americans.
play Canadian teams.
So that means rather than, unlike, for example, a Mackenzie Blackwood, who plays in a division where there's actually no Canadian teams in his division, where they said that he would miss 9 games, you're looking at least, what, 3 in-division rivals that you don't have your away games against. And then for the all of the Western teams, that's 1 game apiece from there.
Yeah.
So that's a decent
good sum of games.
Yeah, that's a decent sum of games. That's probably like looking at least
for your first line winger, like so.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't think it's quite like the situation with some of the other teams where you have like a depth player that's really replaceable. You know, Bertuzzi's a little bit more difficult to replace because he's has that set spot in your lineup at this point in time. You know, it's easier to replace a third line player than it is a first. So
you guys want to know a weird fact?
Isn't Vrana injured?
I just saw this weird fact. I gotta say it because I cannot get it out of my head now.
He's having surgery.
Did you guys know that Nick Leddy is 4th all time in defensive points for the Islanders?
Oh shit!
Wow, he's behind Potvin number 1, then Stephen Pearson, Thomas Johnson, and Nick Leddy.
Okay, so no offense there, but look at that drop for name value after the first one.
Oh, it goes from 1,052 points with Potvin down to 369.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ!
So that's what happens when you're like you were the Mike
When
Boss.
you're mediocre for 40
generation.
years after you have an amazing run. That's what happens.
That's like what happened. Honestly, I'd love to see the numbers on Edmonton because it feels like the same would happen with the Paul Coffey to immediately whoever the hell is next.
I like that Nick Leddy gets though for them.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
The big thing I like about that move, which I was going to say before we move on from him with Yzerman is being smart, is if Leddy has a good season, all you paid for him was Richard Panik and a second. I guarantee you if Nick Leddy has a decent season...
Yeah, but Richard Panik had a 50% retention.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Nick Leddy's on only got 1 more year left, and if you retain some of that salary, since they already have some of the most cap in the NHL, you can easily trade him to a team overpaying for a defenseman for a late first round to a team trying to win. I guarantee you can get the first out of him. If he has a decent season, some team will... If Nick Foligno can get a first-round pick and a third or whatever it was last year, the least paid...
Desperation.
Yeah.
That's not logic.
I question that myself.
Now, I have questions though about he was injured last season, but he technically was under contract with the Red Wings. Bobby Ryan, his contract expired. Where is he now?
I think Bobby Ryan might be retiring, if not
he might be retiring. Yeah. Just because he hasn't re-signed there at this point in time. I don't think he has any contract anywhere. So,
well, moving on from
okay. I got it right here. He's on a PTO with Detroit.
Oh, okay, good. He'll probably get a contract then.
So, moving on from that, what's the next team you want to do, Jake?
The next team, according to the Google on the alphabetical order, is the Florida Panthers, which is a very interesting team.
This is a steep increase now.
Exactly.
They definitely improved.
Well, for sure. Like I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen, I had the Florida Panthers as the Stanley Cup winners last year in my bracket. I thought that was the best iteration of a team in Florida we've ever seen, and not to mention one of the best coaches in the NHL behind the bench in Quenneville. And now you extend Barkov to a really good contract, a really fair contract.
He's one of the best defensive forwards in the league.
He's a top 5 forward in the entire league, in my opinion.
Like, if Bergeron and when Ryan O'Reilly just didn't exist, this guy would be winning Selkies like nobody's business.
Exactly.
It's just the
And
problem
if he
with
wasn't on Florida, he
Bergeron.
probably would have already won a Stanley Cup. I'm not gonna lie, because any other team would have been able to finally win with a guy that good. He's that good, and they've never even made it out of the first with him yet. Hell, he's made the playoffs twice in his career, and both times they've lost.
Let's be honest though, they got jobbed in that Islanders series.
They did, but they still
Like
lost. Doesn't matter.
They did,
Doesn't
but
matter.
like,
Doesn't matter
oh
how many
man.
times the refs screw you over. At the end of the day, 5 years later, or however long it's been, I don't care. They lost, and they gotta get over that hump finally. It's been what 20+ years without a playoff win.
24 years.
The last time was they made a playoff win was the one that got them to the Cup final, I believe.
Yep. Which is
That was the
a
last
long
time they
time.
won a series? Jesus Christ.
know.
Is that
They have the
96?
I think they actually have the longest playoff drought in the NHL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the longest playoff series win drought, 24. At least they're second with 60.
Yes, yeah. So how do we feel about Florida, Tanner? What do you feel about them? But do we even really need to talk about them? Because they only, honestly, they kept every addition basically they made at the deadline, and they
Yeah,
already were
plus
the
they
best team
added
leading the
they added
deadline.
Joe, they added depth in Joe. They added a young guy in Sam Reinhart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot about
And
the
they
Reinhardt
got,
deal
and
actually.
they got
Sam
plenty of
Reinhart.
good
I forgot
prospects
about
coming up
that.
too.
That's a
And
really
plus they
good
got
gift.
good prospects coming up.
Yeah,
So
they do.
they're probably gonna be.
Mackenzie Weegar had an amazing season last year, and if he can
Oh,
build off
yeah,
of that,
absolutely.
that's a huge get for your defense. Aaron Ekblad coming back from that injury is going to be important to see how he plays.
Yeah,
over
but
time.
you know
Like,
he's not gonna be the
he's
same
always
after
a
that.
warrior out there and playing, even if he
Yeah,
doesn't.
but
look
you
the
know
same, he looked at-
Ekblad's but you know Ekblad's not gonna be the same after that injury.
For
you
sure,
know that.
but the thing about Ekblad is that he's had injuries before where you're like, he's not going to be the same, and he's not the same player, but he's changed his game, and he's so dynamic that he's able to still find a new way to play defense and be effective.
Mhm.
Like, we don't
So
say
they-
that he fell off hard because of injuries, we say he adapted his game, which is really, really true. He's a very professional, good player. Like, a lot of guys like to shit on that first overall pick that they made with him, but honestly, when you
At
look at
the
that
time.
draft at that time, he was worth it. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
teams
yeah.
would have made that selection at the time. And if you think away injuries, he's been one of the most consistent defenders in the NHL.
Honestly, too, with defensemen, too, it's a 50-50 game on when they will finally hit their peak. You get guys that are younger,
Yes.
like the Cale Makars, and then you get the guys that are older, like the Jeff Petries, that show up a lot later in their career and show their worth in
Ben
ways
Sherratt
that
is another example of that.
Won't
As a Jets-
expect-
with
Yeah,
the Jets,
and
right?
so the only two guys that that the Panthers really lose in the offseason are Keith Yandel, where he goes through things, which is he was good depth defenseman. He wasn't the Keith Yandel that he got when he went there, but which can easily be replaced with Mackenzie Weegar, in my opinion,
Same.
and Chris Drieger, which if anything maybe makes your goaltending tandem a little unstable,
I don't know about that.
and like with Dylan Levi being now gone to Buffalo, rest in peace, my friend.
Devin Levi.
Devin Levi. God damn it. God damn.
Yeah, Levy was like the main sacrifice of that.
But like,
I'm surprised that they didn't expose Bobrovsky in the draft. Honestly,
Who would have taken him? It's a waste, right? Like I know,
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, the Price got the exposure and all that, but if they didn't take
I think
Carey
they just
Price-
knew that they were gonna lose Drieger in free agency, so they're like, wait,
Yeah, it was over him and Price.
So what do we feel
Well,
about
Price was
Bobrovsky?
Montreal, but like,
Bobrovsky's
but like the same thing goes with
interesting. I
Bobrovsky
don't know how
because
to
like
feel
look
about
at
him.
because
I
like
still think he's got the
like compared
talent.
to two
I just don't
guys,
know what happened to him.
let's compare the two contracts real quick between Bobrovsky and Price. Both
Oh.
have really significantly large contracts. Both of them were exposed in the expansion draft. I know Seattle was looking at them and
Or
thinking,
no, Bobrovsky wasn't exposed. Bobrovsky was protected, I believe, right?
oh, was he protected?
Bobrovsky had
Yes.
to be protected though. He had a no movement clause in that deal.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who do you think
Shit.
he's going to
They
perform
rolled
this
out the
year?
red carpet
That's
for
why.
that deal, right? The highest paid goalie in the league, and they gave him the no movement.
Yeah,
They shot themselves in the foot with because Jesus Christ, that deal has not looked good so far.
yeah.
So he's
that
going
is-
to need to perform this year. Like, let's make that
he's
clear.
gonna do. He's gonna
Oh,
do.
he
He's
has
gonna do a
to.
lot.
It's going to be
He needs
him-
a lot more than perform.
him
He's gotta
and then
be all-star.
Spencer Knight.
He's got to perform back to Vezina form. He's been worse than
yeah.
most goalies for teams that aren't even in the playoffs.
It's either he performs or he's probably gonna be shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a
He
tough
easily
thing to
could.
move, though.
Played great to the point where Jay Henry starts like yelling about it again.
Yeah, that's it.
They're weird, Florida. They're very weird. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna.
They are the
be-
men- they are the
still
Florida
top
men that
five.
wear
They
gators
got
and
Goalie
drink
Spencer
situation
anyway.
Knight
is
in
like-
the system.
Guys, one at a time.
No,
No, we love chaos. Fuck you.
everyone
have-
says.
They got Spencer Knight in the system, so I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how they're.
No,
gonna
they gotta call him
use
up. They gotta call him up.
They will
No.
eventually. I think.
I know. I'm
Quinville's
just saying, is that
Quinville's
I'm-
very good at evaluating young talent when it comes to when they're really ready to play. We look at Mackenzie Weegar last year. He saw it, and Mackenzie Weegar. I don't know if you guys remember. He almost was traded for with 7 other teams before the season. Like there were rumors about Jack Rossovic and Mackenzie Weegar potentially being swapped as RFAs at the time.
Oh, what a time!
Right?
Oh,
We didn't know what Mackenzie Weegar was going to become into. We knew he was a good young defenseman. There was no real, number one consensus on how good he would become. And Quenneville really used him well. So I really think that Florida's just going to have another good season that they did last year. They could be even better than what they were last year. And I think they're going to. I think this is the year that we see them advance in the playoffs, though.
They're definitely a top 3 division.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
I think honestly too, they're probably going to avoid that. I think them. So let's move on. Actually, Tampa's the other team. I want to
alphabetical. Yeah, alphabetical. We're going with the Canadians next. The Stanley Cup.
The
Habs lost in the Cup final, which is again a very interesting team. A team that literally went to the
I
Cup
know,
final this
yeah.
year, and then now
Once
we
they
look at the
lose,
team and
what's
it's
it
like,
called?
holy crap, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, then they lost a good amount of their core. Deneau, they lost. Tatar, they lost.
Weber.
Carey Price is going to be out for a while because of the player assistance program. Please, for the love of God, Carey, get better. We're all rooting for you. But, all those losses...
Shea Weber's gone, too, for the season.
Shea Weber's gone. He may be done for his career. Not just the season, but his career.
Shea, we wish you the best, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jake Allen is your starting goalie now, so...
Yeah.
Well, kind of. There's Sam Montebo or whatever they're trying.
Oh yeah, sorry, because they got
No. I mean, they're just throwing names to see what will stick. Because if Jake Allen is your starter, then you're playing a tandem.
How do you guys feel about the youth, though? We saw a lot of good aspects in
We hear so much about the youth.
Scott Kaniemi to Carolina.
But you know what? Though?
Yeah, Kaniemi as well. Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit right now, because I actually see Kaniemi as a departure.
I want to run down this saga quickly. 2019, the Habs offer sheet Sebastian Aho, but the Canes are like, fuck you, we're matching. 2021, the Hurricanes offer sheet yesterday cut Kaniemi with a $20 signing bonus as a tribute. The Habs don't match. Canes get him, first and third. Habs get the Dvorak for one of the first and the fourth. Then the Canadians are like, hey, NHL, the Hurricanes only played 4 preseason games out of the 6 they were supposed to. You gonna do something about that?
I forgot about that. I mentioned
the other night.
About that last night. We did talk about that last night. Fucking too early, man.
This guy.
The coffee's still kicking in. Give me a break. But see, like you said, Tanner, I wanted to touch on that right before you went. And we talked about that whole story and the arc that we saw over the offseason. And going even back to last year, I think the departure of Kotkaniemi and the addition of Dvorak is a win for the Canadians. Yeah. I like Christian Dvorak more than I like Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
But the thing is,
not to mention the fact that
this could be
Dvorak's on a much better deal for the same type of player, and you're overpaying Kotkaniemi 6.125, which is a complete overpayment.
Let me look at this. I'll let you keep talking.
Is it more than 1.25? Because if it's even more,
it was less, just a little less.
It's too much either way. The guy had less points than Jack Rossovic last year. Put that into perspective. And Jack Rossovic was worth a 3rd-round pick. So I don't see why that. I like that the Habs did that. I think Dvorak's better.
It was I got right here. It was 6,100,015.
Okay, that's still a huge overpay.
It's good that Montreal was able to get a replacement immediately.
Exactly, and also Dvorak's young too. Like he can get better.
Yeah. They signed Evans to 3 years, 1.7.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal.
If Evans can learn to keep his head up. I went there.
Oh, boy. Yeah. MPI is a bitch!
I sense a tremble in the force. Or maybe just a dislike, but I can't tell.
I sense a disturbance.
Jake, have you seen the MPI ad?
Of course I have. I saw it on Reddit everywhere. It was everywhere.
Tanner, have you seen the MPI ad?
I don't think I have.
There's a giant billboard in Winnipeg that says it's Shifley. It's pointing like this. It says "Keep your head up," and it's about car insurance.
Oh my god!
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my fucking god!
God bless Winnipeg, man. That is like the
best
thing you could put.
Marion and Lajimodier, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, moving on then from the Canadians, a team that we think is probably going to be. You know what? I don't even think I can grade the Canadians. They're just going to be 50-50 bad, 50-50 good. I really can't put anything on them. They're too hard.
That one's hard to determine.
It really is. It's going to be wait and see with the Canadians. Watch them play. So moving on then from the Canadians, another team which is interesting, Canadian team, Ottawa. How do we feel about Ottawa, Tanner?
Well, we saw how big they were last season, how hyped they were to be, but then look at it. They shit the bed.
Yep.
What do I expect this season? Them to be hyped again, only to shit the bed.
Except this year they don't have Brady the Chuck because he's sitting out asking for $8 million. So
Yeah,
Ottawa's an interesting case, though, guys. We have to remember this Ottawa team was embarrassing in the first half of the season. The second half of the season, the Ottawa Senators were actually, no joke, their last 15 games of the season were really tight. Like they won a lot. I think they won a lot of them too. Like they realized that their starter was probably going to. They want their starter probably now. Even they might say it's Matt Murray. It's not Matt Murray. Philip Gustafson is the best goaltender they have. I think that's pretty far and away at this point. And pretty much from there, it honestly depends on how much do they invest in their young guys. Because I think this could be a step in the right direction. That being said, the competition that they're playing against now is going to be more impactful than it was last season.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just adapting to the same teams over and over again. You're playing new rosters, you're playing new types of schemes and plans, and I think that could be a trouble for them. I see them sitting in probably the 6th or 7th spot, but being a competitive 6 or 7 team.
Yes, yeah.
Possibly if they get a run of wins, they could stretch to 5, but it's a tough division to get momentum if you have teams like Boston, teams like Florida, teams like Toronto, and teams like Tampa Bay just sitting there. It's hard to really convince yourselves that this team that could be can we play up to is going to be able to compete consistently with a team that just already has that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel about the Senators. They could be competitive, but more or less, they'll probably be a team that picks top 10 in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
In the end of the day.
Again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so I think we're almost all in agreement. The Ottawa Senators will probably be okay, but they won't be very amazing.
Okay by their standards.
Okay by their standards. That's a good way to word it, Zach. That leaves the defending champions, back-to-back defending champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Do we just need to skip them completely and just say we're going to see 3 in a row? Because I don't. But how are you guys feeling about them?
I wouldn't say 3 in a row.
I wouldn't say either. I don't like this team as much as I've liked the last couple. I would say that this is the weakest team they've rolled out in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah,
which is okay.
but
Tampa fans, it doesn't
again,
matter. We could shit on your team all day long. You know why it doesn't matter? You just won back-to-back cups and have been the most dominant team in the league for the last 10 years.
It's expected that your team will
win. Exactly. Are the Chicago Blackhawks still the dominant #1 powerhouse in the league? No. So it just happens, and I think you're going to still be a good team that could probably make the second round at least, but I just don't see a cup. That's all I need to say about them. I think they're going to be a good team that goes probably second round minimum, but I don't see them winning the cup. That's all I feel about them. And they'll they'll be 1 or 2 in the division probably. They're very easy to predict.
They'll probably be top. They'll probably be the top of the division.
Probably. Unless for some reason the next team, the last team in this division, somehow pulls another. We're the best team in the league. We're gonna win a Stanley Cup and then get swept in 4 games or something like that. So Tanner,
I'm not fucking betting on that.
How you feeling your Maple Leafs this year?
I feel that the Leafs have improved in some aspects, but have also downgraded in some aspects. Yeah, you lose Frederick Anderson. Who do you get for his replacement? Oh, I know. Fucking Peter Mrazek.
Yeah, exactly. Another inconsistent, mediocre goaltender that's been burnt out.
It's like you lose Zach Hyman. Who do you get to replace Zach Hyman? Oh, how about fucking Nick Ritchie and Andre Kasha?
Not to mention the Jared McCann shit that went down with the expansion draft.
Yeah, like Jared McCann to protect Alex Kerfoot.
And then you just lose him the day after.
Yeah.
You know what? That means that all they really lost in all of that was Hollander in the 7th in the Seattle.
It's not about losing. It's not about losing
it's
what you lose. It's about getting better. Jared McCann was an obvious upgrade over those guys. Like Jared McCann was a great fit on Toronto, and you lose him for literally. Yeah, you lose nothing, and you end up losing nothing in the expansion draft. But I'd argue that McCann is a worse loss than some of the other guys you could have lost.
No offense.
Yeah, that's fair.
But all that this did was just make it so that his name is now going to be circled back to come this trade deadline. I have a feeling that Alex Kerfoot is going to be one of the guys they look at, or at least the public looks at the trade deadline again as somebody who they're going to possibly trade for a big type get at the trade deadline. And literally the only reason you got rid of Jared McCann right away was because you wanted to protect Alex Kerfoot.
The Maple Leafs currently have $80,000 in cap space, so they have none basically.
Oh wow, big fucking woohoo!
Right? So you're
That's something to cheer about.
you're going into this season with not a lot of good. Like you're gonna need some guys, some younger guys to show up. Like I'm sorry, but like Wayne Simmons and Jason Spezza, like come on, man, come on.
Spezza, I'm okay with on the fourth line. Spezza at least can be like.
Jason
can
Spezza
act.
at 38 though. You have no idea what you're.
No.
No
I get
idea.
that. I get that, but at least it's a safer bet than Wayne Simmons.
Yes, but not to mention Wayne Simmons.
Also,
has
I
still
would
one
have
more
said
year.
fuck Wayne Simmons and just not sign him.
Like Wayne Simmons is making $900,000 until end of 2022, 2023. They got him for one more year. I don't understand that one, but I hope to God he can play decently for them. But Wayne Simmons has been a shell of himself the last 5 years, I would say. Maybe. Even
Oh God, yeah. No, honestly, ever since he left Philadelphia, he's been a shell.
Yep, exactly. So I honestly, looking at this team, I don't see a lot on this team. I'm not trying to just rip on the Leafs.
No, I know. I don't disagree.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I don't disagree.
Like I'm just looking at the roster, and there's not a single standout to me other than the guys that have been there for the whole time. Like, there's no
Let's
new
be fair,
addition
though.
that's going to make them better. No.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, we are all saying this, and I'm not to be devil's advocate here, but we are all saying this with the expectation that they will make the playoffs, but they will not win in the playoffs. Is that correct? Because let's be honest, this team is still good.
Okay.
This team isn't.
Don't make
good
the
under
playoffs
pressure.
and then lose in the first round. Let's be fucking
Look,
real with
guys,
ourselves.
This team just can't handle pressure. It isn't that they're not good.
Let me ask you this, though, okay? Let's talk. We just talked about the whole division going through. Do you see the Maple Leafs being better than the Lightning?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Don't say
Not
it.
when it matters.
We're not done yet. Hold on. It's just yes or no right now. Do you see the Maple Leafs being better than the Panthers?
No.
Do you see the Maple Leafs being better than the Bruins?
Possibly, yeah.
See, but that's it right there.
Iffy.
That is the three teams that I think are going to be the most likely number 1, 2, 3 in that division, right? Like very close to that order. And we don't even know if the Leafs are just as good as potentially the third place team in that division. So the Leafs this year.
But the thing is, though, with the
Leafs could
Panthers,
easily
right?
go for a
The
wild
thing
card
is,
this
you
year.
can make an argument with Florida. The thing is, you can make an argument with the Leafs saying, "Oh, we're better than the Panthers." You can make that
The only
argument.
reason Leafs fans are going to say that, though, is because they're Leafs fans. The Leafs have a great top six. But when you look at a complete team build from your top
No,
line
no,
all the way
Florida,
down to the backup,
absolutely.
it's Florida. Same with Tampa. And I would say that Boston is a better comparison now to what the Leafs are than any other team in the Atlantic Division.
In terms of the depth falling off to an extent, like, don't get me wrong, it really matters how, like, I actually like a certain pickups that the Leafs made. For example, Michael Bunting is a guy who, if you use him properly,
Yeah, plus, wait, it's
Michael
only been
Bunting
his
is
first season.
underrated. Michael Bunting is underrated, and I'm going to explain why. He's another example of asset management gone wrong by the Arizona Coyotes, and he can actually use like middle sixer in the type of way that we like to pride ourselves on the Jets having a solid third line. That's what you can get out of Michael Bunting.
Okay.
Now that being said,
Yeah,
you
no,
need
that's
to
fair.
manage him properly because Sheldon Keefe
But
has had moments of brilliance and moments of befuddlement all in one.
Does Michael Bunting, does he make you a better team? That's what we're talking about right now. Do you think that one
Yeah.
addition to make
Well,
your
plus,
team...
like, has Bunting even played in the NHL yet?
Yes, he had a hat trick when he played in Arizona, and a hat trick in a preseason game.
Okay, but
Because I see like a
great.
lot of like
But
of things
what it
saying
comes
that
down to
Bunting
is
could be
that
like
the
a
Leafs-
Calder nominee.
the
It's like,
Leafs
wait a minute,
choked
wasn't?
last year hard.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let me, like, this is the problem I have with the Leafs. This is why I have no faith in them this year, and I genuinely mean that. They haven't done nothing to change their current core, and all they do is choke, and then they get worse with the depth. So,
Yeah.
like, in my opinion, when a team, I'm not talking about trading every single player. Like, I think you maybe move one. I really think they should have moved Marner. I really, really think that they should have pursued that market a lot harder than probably what they did. Because they're one of their, like, the most underrated player the Leafs have in their top six, probably Alex Nylander. Like, I think Nylander has been more solid over the last few years than what you get in the playoffs, even out of.
Did you just confuse the Nylanders and say that we had Alex?
Did I? I might have said.
I heard Alex.
I probably did then. I meant Willie. Either way, like I said
I
earlier.
just heard Nylander, not gonna lie.
Okay, well, either way, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
Okay,
that,
I don't know why, but real quick, Zach, why the fuck do you look like Austin Matthews when he's a teenager?
Because I have skill that you cannot
if he puts his
understand.
nose up a little bit more, then he'd look more like Austin.
If you see me,
And then
act
maybe just
like-
like pull the cheeks out just a little bit.
All right, so we're
or just
approaching
slapping random people in Arizona,
we're approaching the
allegedly.
35-minute mark. We don't want to get this going forever. It is only talking about the Atlantic. So, Tanner, to end out the episode, we'd like to see what your prediction is going from the last place in the Atlantic all the way to top.
I wrote down Buffalo for you already.
Already done.
All right.
Can you see the screen?
I can't. Unfortunately, the way that the setting is, it won't show up. So if
Just let us know.
Just write it. Let us know.
Oh, because I made a tier maker. God damn it.
Oh,
Okay.
I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort, man.
We got Buffalo in 8th. Who do you got 7th?
Could you turn off the watch stream? It's just messing up the recording process on the Streamlabs.
Oh yeah. I got you.
Instead of 3. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sorry, we can't see your actual fucking list. Like I would have liked to actually see that.
A new challenger has appeared.
All right, so let us know. Just rattle them off.
But 8th was Buffalo. I had Buffalo in 8th. I had Detroit in 7th.
Okay.
I had the Senators in 6th. The Habs in 5th place. Boston barely sneaking into that 4th place wildcard spot. I had the Panthers in 3rd. Leafs barely edging them out by I'll just say by a point. Well, let's say it all comes down to the final day of the season. Both teams play. Panthers lose in overtime. Leafs win in regulation, securing 2nd. And then 1st is pretty much going to be the Lightning.
I think that's a pretty, fair assessment of what the Atlantic would look like, I would say. Because it's really like a pot shot right now. Like, we have no idea what the top 3 will look like. We have an idea of what it'll look like, but it's really hard to predict who is going to win and who's going to be 3rd.
I'm not bold prediction. I think the Panthers can do it, man.
I think the Panthers are the number 1 team in the division this year as well.
I think they can take it.
My bold prediction
If
for the
they
Atlantic
take
this
it, that'll probably be a big shot to all the hockey world, considering how many fans go to those games. If god damn, if any.
Yeah. My big prediction for the Atlantic this year. Sorry, Leafs fans. I think the Leafs are a wild card team this year.
I want to dispute that.
I'm just curious to see how many wildcard teams come out of that division this year.
Probably at least 1.
Oh god, yeah.
The Metro is just too deep to have. Like, it could really be close, but I feel like with the Metro, since you have so many teams that are going to be so close, like, there are going to be a lot of ties, but one team will probably make it, and then you'll have the Atlantic
Metro's that
I feel like it's going to be like one of those situations where the Metro will send both wildcard teams.
They could easily do that. They really could. It's really hard to say right now. Well, Tanner, thank you so much for coming on again. Like we already said at the start, the first guest we've had on twice, so we really appreciate you coming back on talking hockey with us as usual. Make sure to go check out all of Tanner's links, his channel, and all of his other affiliated stuff down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode as well. Make sure to go check it out on Spotify, link in the description as it always is. Zach and Carter, you guys, or I guess actually not Zach and Carter since it's going in the channel. Tanner, anything you want to say before we end out the episode? Any shoutouts or anything you want to say?
Other than that, just go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Logical Canadian. Check out the Common Sports Podcast on Spotify. And I'll be making some more videos soon. Maybe some Splitgate this weekend.
Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you so much for coming on. We hope you all enjoyed. With that being said, peace, love, and positivity. Enjoy the rest of your day. And bye-bye.